That's 1.25 inch tubing, thin wall tubing. I use that to hold the damper open at 1.25 inch by 47, which is 1/40th of this fireplace. Now, currently holding it open, there's a stick up there. No definite dimension on it. It's a little bigger than 1.25 inch. I'm taking it out. You'll see it fall right there. Fire's going. All right. That's 1.25 inch. That's up in the holding the damper open. Now you can see there's no smoke. Not even a whiff. Fire's been going about an hour. And I don't think it's about 70 degrees outside. All right, there's your stick. I mean your tube. I used to use 1.25 inch oak stick, but by paralysis it finally burnt after 6 years. So I found this thin wall 1.25 inch tubing. And I use that, and it's funny. Stick your finger through it at the end of it, and you can feel the draught, the strength of the draught. But now you look. That's a square angle iron bottom lintel. It's a 3.5 by 4. I never shown this in the lintel in entirety while everything was working in action for certain reasons. But I worked on the top years ago, and I arranged the caps and the piers because I was getting downdrafts from next door's Christmas trees, pine trees that were very tall. So I fixed that, galvanized it. I never get downdrafts anymore, only on bad windstorms. But this is amazing. This is 1/40. You could see how the clarity of the air too. Let me see if I could. See, that's the tube. Goes right up into the damper. It's 1.25 inch. The whole thing is the geometry of the smoke, the throat chamber. Everybody confuses smoke chambers with throat chambers. Throat chambers are very important. The most important part of a fireplace. This actually works. This will smoke. If you open it up to 4 inches, it'll smoke, because it'll suck the house so negative and all the heat out, and the airflow increases so much that it gets turbulent and it'll leak. At this depth, this throat depth of 1.25 inch, it gets an equilibrium. And it's a utopia. No smoke, 1.25 inch, with a certain. The chamber has to have certain parameters. My buddy, my engineer partner down in North Carolina. Sorry, that's Atlanta, Georgia. years ago. I gave him all the dimensions for his fireplace, 48 by 48, and he changed the geometry of the firebox, and he ran his jambs, which is right there, right out to the face. And I don't, without me knowing, and he screwed everything up. He had to have his throat at least 2 1/4 inch deep, because he shortened the length of the throat. So by doing that, he had to make it deeper. You couldn't beat the 1 to 40, but he had to make the same square inches on the throat opening, which affected everything. He sucked the house cold is what he did. The thing roared. The plume ran up there so intense up through that. It was like like an airport wind tunnel. That's the word. It created excessive velocity. You don't want any thicker throat, any deeper throat than you absolutely have to, because a thin regulates the flow the best without smoking. And here's proof right here. Look. You'll see dust come down periodically, which is good. It settles on the crane. Because of the low velocity, I don't get all, as a matter of fact, it falls into this little pot right here. You see the pot in the crane? Instead of going up into the smoke shelf, which is about 6-8 inches deep, and there's the full length. It's about 40 inches long, wide, and everybody complains that they get a lot of soot and crap accumulating in their smoke shelf. That doesn't happen here. It falls back down. The air velocity is so slow, it never makes it up through. You'll see it periodically come down. But doesn't yet smoke. The smoke don't come out. It's the dust, the ash. The ash comes down, and there it is. Just lays. Well, a lot of that is from the fire, but a lot of it never makes it into the throat. It's just such a thin throat that it just hits that and it comes back down. After 1 year, every year I burn 6 cords plus at least 6 cords. I get a 1/4 of a pail of ash out of the damper, out of the smoke shelf. Everyone complains they get all kinds of tar and shit. Not here. You get a little creosote. Sometimes it cakes off. Comes from way up top, where the chimney get a little cooler. But the thing is, the chimney keeps its temperature. It's all inside. It goes about 12 feet up through the attic, and then there's another 10 feet exterior. All that maintains its temperature because the airflow is so slow, so regulated, so governed, highly governed. If you open this to 4 inch, you freeze the house. The temperature of the chimney drops down, and you get a negative air pressure going on. You have to run air vents. Big mess. I don't use air vents. See that one there? That one's clogged. I'll show it to you. Look, I haven't opened that in years. I don't need it. Okay, thanks. See yous.